guys, it's Shelley again, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a pumpkin coaster. Thought I'd go with a little bit of like a Halloween festive kind of thing, because obviously Halloween's coming up next month, so I thought that we could do something a bit more festive. So what you're going to need for today's video to make the pumpkin coaster, you're going to need your scissors to fasten off. You're going to need a darning needle to sew in your ends and to sew together the stump and the pumpkin. You're going to need your hook. I'm going to be using a 4mm hook because I feel that that is what works best for me. But you go ahead and use whichever size you prefer or whichever size is recommended for your yarn. You're going to need some orange yarn, and you're also going to need some green yarn, preferably darker green, but again that's entirely up to you. Okay, so to begin you're going to need to make a magic circle. So how I make this is I pop my hook onto my yarn. I then grab the tail of my yarn and I pull it over the front of my hook. What I then do is I then grab my yarn, I hook yarn over and pull it through the magic ring and then chain 2. Or each pattern, sorry, will tell you differently as to how many chains you need to make, but for this pattern it's a chain 2. So then what we want to do is we need to make 11 treble crochets into this magic ring. So treble crochet is a yarn over into the magic ring, yarn over, pull back through the magic ring, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'll do a few more with you. So it's a yarn over into the magic ring, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'll do another one, yarn over into the magic ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we need to make 11 of these. So if you want to go ahead and make 11 of these, and I will meet you back round at the end when all 11 have been made. Okay, so here's my 11 treble crochets. So what we then need to do is we need to join with the slip stitch into the first treble crochet that we made, or into the chain 2, sorry, should I say, the second chain that we made. So it can be a little bit fiddly, but if you look, it's just here. So we need to go into that, and we need to slip stitch it to join. And then what we're going to be doing is 2 treble crochets in each stitch. So again, a treble crochet is a yarn over into the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again a yarn over into the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, next stitch, so yarn over into the top of the next stitch, yarn over, pull back through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and again. Okay, so if you'd like to go ahead and do 2 treble crochets in each stitch, when you get to the end of the round, that will mean you have 22 stitches, and I will meet you back at the end of the round to help you continue with the next round. So what you want to do is you want to slip stitch into the top of this stitch here. So go ahead and slip stitch there. And then what we want to do is we want to do a chain 2. And then we will be doing a treble crochet, into the next 10 stitches. So if you want to go ahead and do a treble crochet into the next 10 stitches. Okay, and then we need to slip stitch into the next two, so it's just put the hook through the next space, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the loop on your hook, and again on the next one, and then it is another 10 treble crochets, another 2 treble crochets in the next 10 stitches. So if you'd like to go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you round at the back at the end. Okay, so that is my 2 treble crochets in 10 stitches, then 2 slip stitches, then 2 treble crochets in each of the 10 stitches, and this is me now back at the end. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space here, and then I'm going to chain 2, and then it's 2 treble crochets in each of the stitches, so that will make it 20 stitches each 20 stitches, sorry, and then it will be 2 slip stitches in the middle again, and then the same here, 2 treble crochets in each stitch around. So if you'd like to go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back at the end. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've done my, let me just flatten it out a bit so I can show you. I've done my second round, and I've got this little gap in the bottom here, and I've got a little gap in the top here. However, this little gap in the top here is now going to be closed off. We're just going to form a slip stitch into the top of the chain 2 like we've been doing in previous rounds. It can be a little bit fiddly, but don't worry about it too much. So you slip stitch into the top of the chain 2, to the top of the chain 2 like that. Then you want to chain 1 and pull it and cut yourself, leaving a tail. Fasten off, make sure you leave a tail so that you can weave it in a little bit later. And there we have it, that's your pumpkin shape made. Let me show you. So that's your pumpkin shape made. Sorry about the lighting, it's not the greatest at the moment. So now what we need to do is pop that to one side, and you need to grab your green yarn. So with the green yarn, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be forming a slip knot. So I do this by grabbing the tail of the yarn and I wrap it around my finger, then grab the loose bit of the yarn and wrap it around my finger. I then grab the first ring that I made on my finger and pull it over, then I grab the second loop down, pull it off my finger, and that forms your slip knot. Then what you want to do is tighten that to your hook so that it's not too tight but not too loose, and then you want to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to do a treble crochet into the next 5 stitches. So first stitch, it can be a little bit fiddly for the first stitch, but it does get easier. And then the second stitch, and then the third stitch, and then the fourth stitch, and then the 5th stitch. And then with the 6th stitch, what you want to do is you just want to slip knot into that, so it's just insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the loop, and then chain 1 and fasten off. So now we have the little stem like we had on this one. So now we've just formed our little stem. So now what you can do is both your yarn balls you can pop to one side. And you want to now sew on this stem to the pumpkin. Firstly, I would say we should weave in this end so that it's out of the way, so you're only dealing with one end. So grab your darning needle. We need to thread the darning needle like that. And then what I do to weave in my ends is I always go into the surface stitch and I will pull it through, and I'll go back through and I'll go through them surface stitches again, and I will continue to do that until I'm happy that it seems relatively tight. So I'm going to go around and do that once more, so go into the surface stitch once more, and then as I'm coming through this surface stitch, I'm then going to thread this bit of yarn through the gap that you made and pull it tight, and that secures it so that it's not going to come undone. And then you just want to snip it, and then when you pull it, it all kind of goes in together and you now can't see where you have fastened off. So now what you want to do is you want to thread this needle with this thread, and you want to go into the back of your pumpkin. And then what I would recommend doing is obviously turning this over so that you're going into the back of the pumpkin as into the back of the stem as well. And again, I always go into the surface stitches. So I'll pick up a surface stitch on my hook and I'll pull it through. And that will start off, that will be the beginning of you joining your stem to the pumpkin. So then what I'll do is I'll pick up another surface stitch and I will go through the pumpkin at the stem of the pumpkin at the same time. Then again through the pumpkin and pick up another surface stitch. And pull it through. If the thread comes out, don't worry, just thread it back through again. Okay, so then I'm going to go into this one and I'm going to pick up a surface stitch from this side and pull it through. And then I'm going to go through my stem and pick up one of the surface stitches and pull through. I'm going to do this once more, and then with the loop that forms, again you want to just thread your needle through that loop and pull the thread through, and then just pull tight, and that will tie a knot and secure it. So going to pull this through. It can be extremely fiddly, so don't worry guys, it's not just you that will find this difficult. And then you want to thread it through and pull tight, and that forms a knot to secure it. And there we have it. So that is your pumpkin all joined together. Don't worry too much if you do come through the front, as you can see I have here. It's not the end of the world because obviously a pumpkin isn't all just orange. So now what you need to do is you need to go ahead and fasten and weave in all your ends that you have left. So as you can see, you have this long tail from when we finished and fastened off the pumpkin, and you have the little tail from when you began the pumpkin from the magic loop. I will do these with you now. So what you need to do is you need to obviously thread the needle again. Not quite how I threaded it. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay. And then what you want to do is, again, you want to go into a surface stitch. Let me just zoom you in again so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So you want to go into a surface stitch. They can be a little bit tricky to find. Just take your time and find a surface stitch. Doesn't really matter where you find one, but the closer you can find it to where you fastened off, the better, because you won't have a long tail between. So then you want to do that. I normally do it around 3 times. And then this ring that you can see that is formed here, I'm going to put my needle through and that will pull the thread through, and then I'm going to pull tight and that forms your knot, and then you can snip off, and that's that done. So you just need to go ahead and do that with this tail here, and then that will be it complete. Okay guys, so that is the pumpkin complete. When you have done all of the steps, I've attached the stem, I've weaved in all of my ends, of which you can see there's no recollection of where they were or where you had fastened off, which is always good. And it is plenty big enough for you to now hold a bottle or a candle or something on. Let me just show you so you can see size reference. So that is it with a candle on the top. So it's nice and it's a very nice reasonable size. It will easily hold a mug on that, or a bottle, or whichever you choose to pop on. These would be perfect as little gifts or just some decorations for the festive period, obviously Halloween coming up. Or even people that just enjoy having pumpkins. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be for a seasonal event. You use them for whatever you feel happy having them with. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope that you have enjoyed making these cute little pumpkin coasters with me. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please can you give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Comment below if there's anything else you would like me to show you how to make next. Thank you for watching. Bye.